Welcome. I'm Angelica.
And I'm Gaia.
Today we are speaking to Amelia Hitchcock-Marriott, founder and CEO of Bijoux De Mimi, commonly known as Gen Z's favourite jewellery brand. So if you could tell us what Bijoux is, who you target, what your values are, you as a brand.
So, Bijoux De Mimi is a high quality, reasonably priced, colourful jewellery brand. And it's become really popular among Gen Z girls in the UK and hopefully soon in Europe and the US. We have a small market overseas, but primarily here in the UK.
We're going to start with some this or that questions. Answer as you will. Nothing, don't overthink it. Let's just go straight in.
First question, speak or listen?
Speak.
Mind or matter?
Mind.
Fast or slow?
Fast.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Ooh, why?
I way prefer it as an app at my age, but obviously I prefer marketing on TikTok. But for me, I prefer Instagram.
Why is that? Why marketing on TikTok?
Because my audience is more on TikTok, whereas Instagram's more of our portfolio, I would call it. Although it is growing a lot on Instagram, actually. They're almost equal.
Fate or free will?
Fate.
Spontaneity or routine?
Routine.
Logic or intuition?
Intuition.
Polished or raw?
Polished.
I would take you more as a
What?
raw.
Oh, content? Are we talking?
Doesn't
Raw
matter.
content.
Whatever comes to mind.
Fine. Well,
However you
I was
interpret
thinking
it.
of interiors, and then I was thinking polished. I don't like mess.
Stop or start?
Start.
Give or take?
Give.
Think or do?
Do.
Spectator or participant?
Participant.
Macro or micro?
Macro.
What's on your mind today?
What is on my mind today? The Galentine's pop-up is very much so on my mind. I can't not think about it. What else is on my mind? We launched Or Not on the High Street yesterday, so that's quite on my mind. They lost a packet of envelopes at my warehouse. That's on my mind.
As in
It's
deliveries?
literally just some... No. Literally just some A6 pink envelopes, but the invitations were meant to go out today and it stopped them from going out. But they didn't lose them. Amazon delivered them to the wrong place, and it's just not a big deal because I can just Prime some more because they were just from Prime. That's on my mind at the moment.
So you're
about
going to send physical invitations. You don't want to send them...
Well, because no one gets a physical invitation anymore.
Oh,
So
it's
if you
lovely.
get a
It
physical
makes
invitation,
complete
you're way
sense.
more likely to come. So we've sent physical invites to the pop-up to every customer that's bought in London this year. And then one more thing's on my mind. This.
Oh, great.
That
What
was
were,
it.
what were you thinking about
nervous?
this?
Just thinking I've got this today. No, I wasn't nervous, but just thinking some.
So what happens at the pop-up?
We are doing things differently to the summer. In the summer, we had a pretty crazy it wasn't Galentine's. In the summer, we had our first Kings Road store.
And this was mental.
Yeah.
Why was it mental?
Because I just didn't expect... I expected about 50 people in the queue, to be fair.
Okay.
We had our first Kings Road store. It was just a massive pop-up. And I'd been planning it for 6 months. I've done so many pop-ups before. And so I expected, based on the growth of the company since the last pop-up, there to be about 50 people in the queue. We had an influencer event the night before it opened, so loads of influencers were posting about it. And then basically the next morning, I get in a taxi. No, the next morning I wake up and I checked my tagged photos on Instagram.
Yeah.
And there's mentions from 2 a.m. the last night being so excited for Bijoux De Mimi pop-up. And there's literally teenagers outside the shop camping out. But the queue is my shop is here.
Mm-hmm.
It goes all the way down past every other shop till the Kings Road ends.
Oh my God.
Down Oakley Street, round and back.
Insane.
That's
insane.
That's crazy.
And then at that point there are about 1,500 people in it.
Why did it go so viral?
Well, I had a few viral videos where I was the first 100 people in the queue will get a goodie bag. And will I be doing that again? Absolutely not.
It worked too well.
And then that happened. But there was quite a lot of aftermath of that because basically we obviously had no crowd control.
Okay.
At 8:45, we had the police, the council, And
No way.
like the King's Road security come and be like, you need to do something about this.
And how did you deal with that?
Because I called so many security companies, no one could do anything. Meanwhile, like my girls are having to like hand out so many drinks and everything like that.
So what would you say is the thing that you learned from this? Did you learn something from this?
No more freebies unless it's ticketed.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
To always like expect more. And also to just like take everything with a pinch of salt. Like actually, like if someone's whining, like it's not that big of a deal and you're probably fine.
Why do you think it became it became this viral? Why do you think, how did the word spread? Why were people camping out? Did you run a campaign to promote it? Why do you think that happened?
So Bijoux just has like a really cult following.
Okay. And why jewellery?
In Paris, there's this really famous road where there's loads of wholesale jewellery shops, which means you go, you buy things for cheap and then you sell them for more. And in those shops, there was so much colourful jewellery.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never seen, like I've always loved colourful jewellery in terms of like, I've always collected like my rings and everything like that. But colourful jewellery is expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could never get it for cheap in the UK. Like it just wasn't a thing. You had crystals or rainbows.
You saw a gap?
Light bulb moment.
No, not light bulb moment.
was not a
So
light
not
bulb.
a light bulb moment. I just loved it. I bought loads and I put it on my Depop. Basically, in COVID, I was really annoying my boyfriend. I haven't told this story in so long because he had a business and he also was at uni. And then like every boy in COVID had become really obsessed with Call of Duty.
Oh, yes.
So I was like constantly like, why aren't you giving me attention? And he was like, I think you need something to do. And he was like, why don't you start a business? Because he's naturally very like entrepreneurial. So then I was like, fine, I will. And then I knew, oh, well, that shop in Paris had loads of stuff I couldn't find here in the UK and I loved it. So maybe I'll just start with that. And then I did.
So how did you start? Did you...
Contacted the shops in Paris.
Okay.
Made like wholesale company. Bought stuff in. Made Bijoux De Mimi. And then that was that. And then 6 months later, I began design and manufacturing.
The whole social media aspect, how did you approach that? Did you instantly know that social media was going to be your main strategy? No. Or
I was actually, one of my like biggest regrets is not going straight to TikTok.
Okay.
Eventually was like, right, I need to start posting on TikTok and Instagram. And I did. But that was 6 months in.
Okay.
Is it mainly repeat customers?
50%. So, yeah.
Yeah. And have you noticed a change in what the younger girls want, or is it typically the same sort of stuff?
Weirdly, so like our necklaces and our bangles and our hand chains and all the new stuff that came out this year, Bijoux had completely specialised in like huggy hoops, cuffs, earrings for years. Well, I say for years, for like the first 3 years. And then I started bringing out necklaces and cross charms and things like that a year ago, 2 years ago now. The cross charms came out. And everyone and their mum copied them like immediately after. And so it had always been about hug earrings until I bought those out. And then basically what I found is like everyone that has all of the earrings buys the new stuff. And then everyone that doesn't have the earrings buys the earrings and then they buy the new stuff.
Okay, so that's like the entry product into Bijoux.
But they've never stopped being, like, which has been really nice, is not been a trend. It's been like
a consistent product which everyone likes.
Like our bestseller now is the same bestseller we had 3 years ago. Even though I bought loads of new stuff out and they are like second and third.
When you post things on your social media page, how much of it is sort of premeditated and how much of it is sporadic?
Nothing is pre-planned in socials.
Nothing is pre-planned. Okay.
Every other element of my life is like totally and utterly pre-planned.
Why isn't it pre-planned?
I just like think about it on the day.
So you're super organic with it?
Yeah, but it's so many brands. It's like the founder doesn't do the socials.
Yeah.
It's like they'll show insights to the founder, but like they won't run it. Whereas like the socials, I love the marketing side of Bijoux. Like I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So it's just every day I'll just choose what I'm doing.
What do you what do you love about the marketing so much? Is it being able to express your creativity? Is it showing what you're getting up to?
I actually have no idea. I find the express your creativity phrase so cringe, but it probably is that.
But it's cringe to you because you're a creative.
Yeah.
To people who aren't a creative, it's difficult to comprehend.
So do you have any mentors?
I didn't until I was invited onto Trinny Woodall's elevator pitch because her daughter was a Bijoux girly.
Was she?
Yeah.
There you go.
And at the end of it, Trini basically asked me if I was looking for investment. And I'm lucky enough that at no point in Bijoux have I needed any like external funding.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had so many moments where I have no idea who to talk to or where I can go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known for a long time that I've wanted a mentor, but not really known where to go for that. And I basically said, I'm actually not looking for investment, but I would absolutely love a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, long story short, I kind of pitched to her thinking that I was going to give her a chunk of the company.
Okay.
And at the end of our call, she was like, you don't need to give me anything, but I will be your mentor. And that was that. And I don't see how much, but the offer is there. But we're just like so busy, but she is amazing and she's so cool. And we had a pop-up in her shop at Christmas, and I've been invited to loads of cool events through them and through Trini, and she's literally insane.
What kind of advice do you look for from her?
A lot of it at the time was about Bijoux was in a real lull where it just wasn't growing. So we spoke quite a lot about ambassadors, and then we also spoke about staff.
So how big is the team?
Back in the day, pre-2024, I had an office and I had a team, and it was all really, really fun, but we were all girls and we were all a similar age. Anyway, so come 2024, it ended up just being me again. And then so now I have 2 email marketing freelancers that are amazing. Now an ads manager who's fantastic, I hope. 2 PR girls, and then I have Phoebe who's full-time with me, and she's sort of part brand coordinator and part like an executive assistant.
So you have one full-time person?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Do you work really closely with her, or is it?
Yes, we work really closely, but I am also like, I like to be alone.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
How do you see Bijoux growing? What are the things you have to do?
I find that a really difficult question because it's kind of, well, we've had moments where it hasn't been growing, to be fair, but this year has been a stage where it's just constantly growing. But I love how it is. Like how it is now, in the sense that like I love just going on the journey and seeing what happens. Obviously I want it to continue growing. I mean, we're going to hopefully slay the ads game. I'm in communications at the moment with a European warehouse in Copenhagen. So hopefully we're going to get a European warehouse, because shipping to Europe is a nightmare right now. And we're also hopefully launching in the US with a warehouse in Utah.
Ooh,
Me and the Mormons.
You and the Mormons.
Yeah.
Tick.
And so hopefully that's happening in the next few months. We'll have another pop-up in summer. And yeah, just kind of see how it's all going. But like the journey we're taking right now is working, so I don't want to change any of that. I also, planning ahead just doesn't work for me. When I plan ahead, and planning my day-to-day, I'm so intense with. But like planning ahead, yes, you can plan pop-ups and things like that. But like I can't be like, okay, I can say this is where I want to be, but I can't be like, we're doing X, Y, and Z together.
But I think if anything, that's the right way to approach it, because you can't predict exactly what's going to happen in a year's time. Right?
Yeah, no. And it's so like, you have to be ready to pivot at any moment.
You have to be super adaptable and have to be ready to change at any time. Have you ever had people try to replicate the brand?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you deal with that?
Depends who and where. We've had some where I can take it legal because they've like literally used photos and like artwork that is so close to what I've done, and like photoshopped things I've done and used. And when it's product, you can take it legal.
Yeah.
That's happened. We've had a really bad one recently where a brand has kind of come out, and long story short, they've just done loads of small things to just completely copy Bijoux, but the products are so different. It's not visible from the outside.
So what was a big milestone for you?
There's loads. Getting into urban was one of my like baby goals from when I first started Bijoux, so that was cool. And then turning over my first million was like a huge thing, but it was only a huge thing because I was expected to do it a year before, but then Bijoux just suddenly like had a dull moment for a year.
And how old are you when you turned over your first million?
21. But it's like grown so much since then as well, which has been so much like nicer, whereas that was like after our really slow year.
What would you say your managing style is like?
I would say I don't really have much of a managing style. It's kind of just like I answer people really quickly and try and be, I've like tried to work on it so much this last year of like being able to explain things better. Like I'm awful at explaining things, and just being able to be way more like efficient in how I say things. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing I've had to learn is to like actually trust people instead of
So give up that control.
micromanage, which I'm really bad at, but I think I've got much better at it. And now, so say for example with like pop-up teams and things like that, Phoebe manages everyone, so I don't need to worry about anything people, which is so much nicer. The only people I worry about is social media people when it comes to in-person events, which I way prefer. And I wish in the early days I'd given like way more almost trust to everyone, because like everyone was so trustworthy, but like at the end of the day I was a control freak.
Were you involved in the hiring process? So did you
As
you
in,
made the
I
decisions,
hired
you
everyone.
hired
Have made
yeah.
every decision, and I've like I literally for the first 3 years made everyone their to-do lists in the morning.
Okay. So micromanaging is not the way.
For reference, I was also 19 years old, so I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today, Amelia. This has been awesome.